I represent the military-industrial complex, and I'm tickled pink with Bush and Gore because I own both of them.
Why should we vote for Bush and Gore?
Well, because they keep the status quo intact, and the status quo is a good thing, and you just will have all this unrest if the status quo is intact. What's really nice is we live in a state that spent 30% of its budget last year on subsidies for the super rich corporate donors. Now, 30% is a nice start, but my feeling is we're in favor of proportional representation. You see, we control 95% of the wealth. The top 1% of wealthy Americans control 95% of the wealth. So my feeling is the state should be spending 95% of its budget in corporate subsidies and giveaways to the super rich.
Gore and Bush, they're all in one, and I'm sick of voting for lesser evil.
I think he's amazing, and he's an alternative. And if he can get in the debates, man, he's going to wipe those other two out. He'll swing right into the White House.
What's the importance of him debating?
I think that he needs to get the word out, and I think he will show up how terribly stupid these other two people are, and how really they really are, Tweedledee and Tweedledum. And he could get the word out to the people. He's very smart. He's been an advocate for the people for years, and they'll realize that he's the one that represents the American public.
I think it's Ralph. Somebody called Ralph. Now I don't own I own the media and I own the news, and I don't know if I can buy off this man called, somebody help me, Ralph. Nader. Ralph Nader, because he's talking about demilitarizing our foreign policy. And if we do that, the people may get a peace dividend. And I wouldn't want that, because I want all profits going to war.
And I'm going to vote my conscience, and I'm voting for Nader.
What about all those people that tell you you're wasting your vote?
I'm voting my conscience, and I'd rather waste it on Nader, which I don't think it's a waste, than vote for somebody I don't believe in, which is Gore.
Thank goodness our media outlets are helping keep him out of the presidential debates and other public forums.
Yeah.
Bush and Gore,
Make me want to Ralph! Nader! 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 Nader!
If anybody says to you, I don't want to vote for Nader, even though I've liked what he's done over the years, how he's stood up for us, how he's battled the big guys, and how he's kept government abuses at bay. I really like him. But I don't want to waste my vote. Here's your answer among 20. Do you want to waste your vote voting for two parties that have wasted our democracy? Can you really throw away your vote to two corrupt parties who've sold our government to the highest corporate bidders? Do you want both parties to get worse every 4 years because you've legitimized them by voting for the least of the worst, allowing them to get worse? Do you ever think of just voting your conscience and feeling good about your vote? You ever think of how you can waste your vote for the Democratic Party, which has become very good in electing very bad Republicans? And besides, when do we start a new path? What's your limit? If you think 1980, least worst you voted, 84, 88, 92, 96, year 2000, well, what's your limit? At what point do you say, yuck? At what point do you say, I'm joining the green wave of justice across America? There's a factor of self-respect here. The idea of being disgusted with the two-party system that's becoming more one corporate party with two heads wearing different makeup. The idea of being disgusted with them and either staying home and not voting, which 51% of the voters did in 1996, they are now the majority, and we're going to appeal. We're going to have non-voter auditoriums. And we're going to have events with non-voters. Because I want to look them in the eye. I want to say, why aren't you not voting? Come on, give me your reasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't operate with this candidacy. They don't operate. The function of leadership is to produce more leaders and to give you more power. If you don't want it, next time someone is a victim of toxic pollution, next time someone gets ripped off, next time someone gets eliminated from a job because of a phony piece of data in the private files, don't complain to me. Because we're giving you a chance that you may not have again. We're giving you a chance to have a chance at making history. And I don't want to hear any excuses from citizens who are always grumbling about dirty politics and corporate crime and vicious special interest privileges in Washington, and they're not doing anything about it. Major labor leaders have said, well, we like what Ralph stands for. We like how he helped in a main way establish OSHA in 1970, dragging some of the labor union leaders along with him to try to support it. We like all these things, but he can't win. So we're gonna support Al Gore, who is now saying, I'm fighting for you. And do you know what his minimum wage proposal is? This bold Al Gore? Well, the Democrats, led by Al Gore, want to raise the minimum wage $1 over the next 2 years. And the Republican, that's just $6.15 an hour. Try living on that. And the Republicans want to raise the minimum wage $1 over 3 years and make the taxpayer subsidize the employers many times more. So, what's the difference between the Democrat and Republican Party? 17 cents? 17 cents. You know what it's like motoring around Los Angeles? And I never get in a traffic jam in Los Angeles without thinking of General Motors and what it did to all of you. For those of you who don't know what I'm referring to, in 1930s, the biggest public transit system in the world was in Southern California, in the Los Angeles area. And General Motors, for decades, was trying to undermine public transit. Trolley systems, the trolley industry, they'd go to the banks and they'd say, we'll put money in your bank, but we don't want you to loan money to the trolley systems, because they thought it was undermining their car sales. So they got together with oil company, tire company, and they literally conspired to buy up public trolley systems in 28 city areas around the country, tear up the tracks, and then push for a total highway transport system, which not long after became bumper-to-bumper traffic. And they did this in Southern California. Now the Justice Department got wind of it when it was the Justice Department. And